Hello, we will now cover part 2 of chapter 9 Traders, Kings and Pilgrims. The index of this video is as shown. First topic is the spread of Buddhism. Now, can you guess how Buddhism is spread to other parts of subcontinent? This is because Buddhist monks they travel to these parts with merchants and traders about whom we have learned in the previous video. Now, from previous video we also know that Kushanas they have ruled in the Central Asia, and among them the most famous ruler was Kanishka around 1900 years ago. He organized a Buddhist council. Now friends, what is a Buddhist council? These are nothing but these were the meetings of Buddhist scholars to discuss the important matters or to make the amendments in the Buddhist literature. Okay. Now, in Kanishka's court, there was a poet named Ashwaghosh. Okay, he composed a biography of Lord Buddha that was called the Buddha Charit. Another important change during this period happened that the use of Sanskrit language by scholars, which was not the language of ordinary people, came into effect. So remember this point. Now, before moving ahead, let me tell you the meaning of Bodhisattvas. What is Bodhisattva? Bodhi is a Sanskrit name meaning awakened or enlightenment. Okay, and Sattva means the purity and wisdom. Hence, these are the persons who have attained the enlightenment. Now, friends, around this time there were some changes in representing the Buddhist ideas. Note that there was no change in the Buddhist ideology, but just the method of practicing it and representing it was changing. This new form was called Mahayana Buddhism. Okay, and the older form is called Theravada Buddhism. So I have also produced a learning trick. You can remember like this: Mahayana has yan, suppose it is naya, naya means new. Okay, so just you can remember like this. The new form of Buddhism is called Mahayana Buddhism. Now, what are the differences between the two? These are the major differences between these two forms. In the first form, okay, the Buddha's presence was shown in the sculpture form. Okay, by showing certain signs like people tree for enlightenment. And in the new form now, the statues of Lord Buddha started to be being made. And Mathura and Taxila, these were two important centers. Now, second important difference was bodhisattvas that live in complete isolation. Okay, in the older form, they were supposed to live in complete isolation and meditate in peace. But in the newer practice, they were supposed to be remain in the world among the people to teach them and help them. Okay, and this was older form was most popular in the Southeast Asia regions like Sri Lanka, Myanmar, etc. And Mahayana Buddhism, it was popular in Central Asia, China, and later it spread to Korea and Japan. Now, friends, can you guess why this third point, Bodhisattva, they remain in the world to help and teach other people in the newer form? Because an important point we have learned, the language was changing now. The language was Sanskrit. It was not the language of ordinary people. Hence, the help of Bodhisattva was required. And also, can you guess why this Mahayana Buddhism spread to Central Asia? Because we are talking about the Kushanas period, and the Kushanas they ruled their dynasty they ruled over Central Asia and some part of Western India. We have covered this in the previous video. You can go and watch that video. Now see here, I have produced some images. This is the Theravada Buddhism. Okay, sculpture and signs are used to represent the Buddhist ideology, and this is the newer form, Mathura style and Taxila style. Okay, these two statues of Buddha they represent the newer form of the Buddhism. Now friends, we will come to another topic, that is the quest of the pilgrims. What is a pilgrim? These are men and women who undertake journeys to holy places in order to offer worship. Now in this topic basically friends, you need to remember that there were three Chinese Buddhist pilgrims who came to India in search of knowledge. You should remember these three names: Fa Xian, Zhuang Zhang and I King. These three pilgrims they came to India. Now friends, what is the reason that they came to India? Because they wanted to visit the places associated with the life of Buddha. Okay, for example, Bodh Gaya, Sarnath, Kusinara. We have studied these in the chapter 5. Okay, and as well as famous monasteries like Nalanda. Now they were also interested in the books, manuscripts and statues of Lord Buddha, because which they carried back with them, and some of these were translated into Chinese language also. So from there the Buddhism is spread to China also. Nalanda in Bihar at that time was the most famous Buddhist monastery of the period. We know from chapter 6 what is a monastery. These were the permanent shelters for monks. These were also called vihars. So Nalanda was Buddhist monastery at that time where the teachers were of the highest ability and talent. Okay, they followed all the teachings of the Buddha in all sincerity. and there all the learned men from all the walks of life, they came there to settle their doubts. So there was no restrictions of the kind of people who used to come there. Now friends, we will come to third topic, the beginning of bhakti. So what is the meaning of bhakti, friends? Bhakti is basically means to divide or share. Okay, hence devotee shares his deity's good fortune or blessings by creating a two-way relationship with a pure heart. So around this time, worship of certain deities which became a central feature of later Hinduism. The bhakti spirit was gaining importance, and deities such as Shiva, Vishnu, and goddesses such as Durga, they started to be worshipped. Now friends, we will study about the features of bhakti. Anybody rich or poor or belonging to the high or low caste or man or woman, there was no restriction, they could follow the path of bhakti. This was the very first feature. Okay, it required devotee to abandon all dharms and take refuge in his deity, whatever deity he or she has chosen. Now deity could be of any form, okay, human being, it could be lion, tree, or any other form. So this was another feature. Now bhakti emphasized devotion and individual worship of God. Now this is important, that individual worship of God or goddess was emphasized rather than performing the elaborate sacrifices that sacrifices in times of Mahajanpad Rajas they used to do. Hence people used to find this method as very simple for achieving the salvation. Hence ordinary people also were attracted to the bhakti. So thank you friends, chapter is now completed and you enjoyed watching the video. Thank you.